Welcome to another edition of Ottawa Eats. I'm your host, Tom Schoch. Thanks so much for joining us. Graffiti. A lot of people say, oh, it's just nonsense on the side of a wall. Some people call it art. Well, here at Graffiti's, it's definitely art. The art of food or pepper. A little spice. Welcome to Ottawa Eats. Let's do food. This is Andrew. Andrew, welcome to the show. Finally get the hug out of the way.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, okay.
It's a pleasure.
We don't know each other.
We don't. We're about to.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what the show is about. Andrew,
Yes, sir.
why do you make foods?
I make foods not only to sustain my living by making income, but I make food because it's my passion and I love cooking. I've been cooking for 10 years and it's what I do, and I guess I'm pretty good at it because
Well, we'll see.
Yeah,
We'll
you'll
see.
be the judge of that.
Yeah. But how did you actually get into being in the kitchen? Not everybody kind of starts out, doing that.
Yeah, it's not like you're born and thrown in the
well,
kitchen.
let's just throw him in there. I'm sure he'll be fine. But how did you get into it?
So I started as a butcher. When I was young, one of my first jobs was like a butcher's assistant at the independent grocer in Manotick. So I
Good
grew up in the
reference.
area,
Yeah, I
right?
like that.
So I went to, I pretty much went in when I was about 15 years old, and I wanted a job, and they said, there's the bakery or the butcher shop, and there was a bunch of, teenage girls in the bakery, and I saw a bunch of hilarious old disgruntled men in the butcher shop, and I was like, I want to work with those guys. So basically,
What an odd choice.
yeah, I know, right? Everyone would be like, go for the girls. I was like, no, those guys are walking around, cutting big chunks of meat, and it was just really interesting. And I started as a butcher's assistant, cleaning the bloody floors, and I'd watch and I'd learn, I'd see what they're doing, I'd learn how to tie roast, and next thing I knew, I was a meat cutter and an actual butcher. So from there, people would always ask me how to cook things. So how do you cook this crown roast? I don't know. You put it in an oven at a higher temperature and hopefully don't burn it. So I wanted to give people the best cooking tips that I could on the product I was serving to them. So I ended up going to Algonquin College and taking their culinary program there. And it was great because at Algonquin you learn the basics. It gives you all the basic tools you need to be successful in the industry.
Right.
And then from there you go out and you hone and you develop your own cuisine, which is great. So.
All right, and now you're here at Graffiti.
At Graffiti's.
And the one thing that I do have to ask you before we get started, if you're left to your own devices, we're not talking here, what's the one meal that you're making for yourself? What's your go-to for you?
I actually had it for lunch today. One of my go-tos is curry goat, a traditional Jamaican dish, and I fell in love with it actually when I worked in the Bahamas with Club Med. And there's something about curry goat, it's just, like every time I taste it, just like all these memories, like I go into a flashback of all these like wicked times that I've had it and the people who taught me to make it authentically and properly. And so that's my go-to. Like I make it at home myself. Like I have some of the Jamaican coworkers here try it and they're like, damn, that's pretty good. And I was like, all right, if you approve of it, then. And it's just my favorite comfort food.
All right, there you go. So this is Andrew. Andrew's going to hug the camera, and we're going to be right back in Ottawa Eats because, well, he's going to make us food because he needs to make a living.
It's true.
And so do we.
So do you.
All right, we're going to talk food now. We've finished with the nonsense.
Yeah.
There might be some more nonsense, just a smidge. A dash,
okay.
perhaps.
I'm all right with that.
All right, a pinch. What are we making first? What's going on?
So this dish is supli al telefono. Supli al telefono is a classic Italian appetizer, right? So it's a deep fried risotto ball. Everyone's heard of arancinis, right? Arancinis, little bright orange risotto balls. Now arancinis are made with risotto Milanese, which is, has that bright orangey color because of the saffron in risotto Milanese. So the difference between this is that it's stuffed with mozzarella cheese. So hence the name supli al telefono. When you break it apart, it's supposed to look like an old telephone because you have a nice big string of mozzarella cheese dripping all over you. Delicious.
Awesome, cool.
So you start with, you have your risotto. Now for risotto, everyone tells you, al dente, al dente. We don't want our risotto al dente this time. We want it cooked right through.
Okay, if people don't even know what that is, what's al dente?
So al dente means there's a bit of bite to it. So when you cook pasta or risotto, instead of it being mushy and cooked all the way through, Italians say you must cook it al dente, which means it has a tiny bit of bite in the middle, a bit of firmness to it, so it's not just a mushy, wet noodle. Yeah, so the same thing with risotto, but with this risotto, we've cooked it right through, so it's quite soft. It'll dissolve right into my fingers, and we want that because we're deep frying it on the outside, get a nice crunchy coating, and it's going to be soft and nice and melty on the inside. So we have our risotto here, which has been cooked down with onions, garlic, a bit of chicken stock, water, and then just seasoned with some salt and pepper.
All right, simple enough.
Simple enough,
Yeah.
right? You ever cooked risotto before?
I have, and this is why you're in the kitchen and I'm not.
It's a labor of love risotto. It's a lot of stirring. It's a lot of, you can't take your eye off it.
It kind of comes out like a really gross paste.
Like a porridge.
Like
yeah, that
oatmeal.
means.
That's-
Oh well.
yeah, oh well is exactly what I say when I'm done usually. Oh well.
Just eat it, right? Oh.
Don't like it, go somewhere else. So this is your first step,
Yeah.
you're just making it into a patty?
Yeah, so
essentially?
you're making a patty. You're taking a appropriate amount, to make a good size well. You can make smaller ones. You can make bigger ones. I do. I don't have an exact measurement for ours. We just do them by feel.
Okay.
So we take a good amount of risotto, and then we have our cubes of mozzarella cheese right in the middle. And we're just going to make a little home around it.
Oh, cool.
And then you're just playing around with the ball, rolling it around. You want perfect shape.
Yeah, shape's important when it comes to balls.
The
They
best.
got to be nice and round.
Yeah.
It's all about the diameter, I find.
Well, it's true, eh? Big
Yeah.
balls, little balls.
It looks like a snowball, actually.
It kind of does. Should we throw it at Ian?
Yeah. Ian's the camera guy, so you okay if we throw it at you? No? No? Okay. All right.
All right, so we have our mozzarella. It's been encased by this beautiful, lovely, flavorful risotto. And now we're going to go on to the breading process.
Okay.
Do you know what I do here?
I'm going to say no, because I want you to
Okay.
explain it to the people at home.
Oh, I was going to get you to explain it, but I will. So three-step breading. It's going to be flour, egg wash, and then our breadcrumbs, which have herbs in them. Flour will help coat the egg to the risotto ball. And then the egg will help coat the breadcrumbs to the risotto ball. So that way you don't have your batter or your breading flying off when you're frying it. It's really adhered onto there. You got a nice coating.
For something else that wouldn't be sticky on the outside, would you use the same kind of process for breading?
The exact same process.
Yeah. So for, let's say, if you're doing fish or chicken, same type of...
Yeah, absolutely.
same
This breading process,
Okay.
as you'll see when I do some of the Catch to Kitchen episodes, you'll see I use this exact same breading process for a lot of the fish that I do because
Yeah.
it's great, nice, crispy, crunchy.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Is that your food of choice to cook Italian? I know that this is where you are right now, but is there a different type of style that you really like?
I have a passion and just a desire to cook Japanese food. I have such a, I'm so fascinated by the ingredients and
Have you found any of that has snuck into some of the stuff that you do here?
Definitely. Sometimes
Yeah.
you'll see influences. Like one of the dishes I had that's not on the menu currently, it was a seasonal dish, was salmon crudo. So crudo is basically sashimi, but the Italian version. So it was very, very Japanese inspired with like pickled red onions and fried capers and drizzles of oil on top, like you would get from a nice sashimi dish at a Japanese
Right.
restaurant.
Yeah.
So mixed in this breadcrumbs as well, there's a bit of Parmesan cheese and then parsley leaves as well.
Yeah. It smells fantastic already.
Yeah. They're not even cooked yet.
Yeah, so there
There's
you
our
go.
balls.
Yeah, so these now, ordinarily you said you would chill these?
Yeah, I would let them set kind of in the fridge for a bit, only because it's easier to fry them. They'll fry a lot quicker, but these are going to be fine to fry right now.
So here we are, deep fryer, they're set to go in, and then we're just going to plate them. You made it look so simple, but there are quite a few steps involved in
Yeah,
it.
for sure.
Yeah, and do you remember making it the first time? Did you really muck it up the first time you did something like this?
The first time I made these, my chef in Toronto told me to make 300 of them. So there wasn't really a thought process in mucking up. It's kind of like, oh, let's go to town, start making these. And yeah, I just pumped them out. So they're going to fry in here until they're nice and crispy golden. The oil temperature is important. It's got to be about 270 because anything higher than that, 265, 270, anything higher, the outside's going to get darker too quick and the inside's not going to get as hot as you want.
Right, okay.
If that ever happens, if you make something like this at home, get your golden brown crispiness on the outside and finish them in the oven.
Okay.
That's your best bet because you want to achieve that nice stringy gooiness on the inside, and your oil has to be just right to crisp the outside and get it gooey on the inside.
It's a neat little trick. The oven, it's your friend.
Yeah, it's your friend.
Yeah,
Can
it's-
be your enemy. I
yeah.
don't have many scars, but.
I got a new one.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
Oh,
just a little one.
good. You want a Band-Aid?
Sympathy would be better.
Sure. I got a violin in the back. All right, so we're just about crispy and golden. We're getting there, getting that color we want, and they should be ready shortly.
All right, we've got them in the deep fryer right now, and these are the accoutrement that goes with it. What are we looking
Absolutely. These are actually fresh pea shoots from Acorn Creek Farms, which is about 10 kilometers from here. He's a farmer who I get a lot of my ingredients off of, and he sends me flats of living pea shoots, and I just trim them and I put them in ice water to keep them nice and crisp and green. And I just like to put those to add a bit of color on this dish.
Okay.
Two other things we have here. That's shaved Parmesan cheese, Parmesan Reggiano.
Beautiful.
Nice and shaved, that'll go on top. And then kind of to give a bit of creaminess to the savoriness of the pomodoro sauce, this is our sun-dried tomato aioli. So we take imported sun-dried tomatoes, we chop it up and mix it with our mayo. And then of course we have a bit of pomodoro sauce, a classic tomato sauce to go on the bottom.
All right, very cool. Lots of color, lots of
color.
flavors.
So let's
They're
go
pretty
over
much ready
to
to come out here.
Oh, they're ready. Nice and dark and crispy. Oh, they run away on you. So here's a sign I'm going to show you right now. You see the cheese just starting to want to come out.
Oh,
That's
very
a good
cool.
sign.
Very nice.
So basically we have our risotto balls. We're going to take some of our pomodoro. Take our risotto balls. They're going to be piping hot.
But you have the calluses of a chef.
Yes, I have hooves.
Hooves. All right. They look lovely, your hooves, by the way.
Thank you. I manicure my hooves. And then I just like to put a nice helping of the cheese on top, and it's going to start to melt on it. That's when I go with a dab of sun-dried tomato aioli.
Very nice.
And then a little bit of the beautiful greens right on top to give it that spike of color.
All right. Not bad. Not bad at all. Look at that. Beautiful. So
go.
what's this on the menu if they're looking for it?
So this is supli al telefono.
All right. There you go. We're going to come right back on Ottawa Eats with dish number 2.
Here we are.
Yeah. With your hooves and everything. Yeah, you like my hooves? They're not near as cool as yours. I think I might actually enjoy an entire show of that. We should give him his own show.
It's Goat Boy.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's been done.
Yeah, oh yeah, once before. This is our good friend here, the chef, and you can see his name, look right there. So we don't even need a little thing on the bottom of the screen. The place that we're at, in case people don't know.
Graffiti's Italian Eatery in Canada. We're attached to the Holiday Inn Suites at 101 Canada Avenue.
All right, it's a very easy to find place, very easy to get to, and some absolutely unbelievable food that looks simple, but is actually quite complex, and you make it look so easy. So what's this that we're working on right now?
So this is our braised short rib. So short rib, one of my favorite meats to work with. It's just super versatile. It's tender if it's cooked properly, and especially through the braising, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna fall off the bone.
Right. Now,
So
what is braising if people don't know what braising is?
Braising is partially covering something in a liquid and then cooking covered.
Okay.
So to braise something is there's liquid, so it's not quite steaming, it's not quite poaching.
Mm-hmm.
It's braising because you're cooking it and you're reducing down, you're concentrating the flavors of the aromatics and whatnot that you added and from the meat itself. So generally what you do with a braised meat is serve it with its own liquid that's been reduced afterwards.
Right. Okay.
So that's what I have right here in this pan. I have 2 nice portions. We leave the bone in just so you know what you're getting. And then so basically this has been braised in beer, there's cinnamon, there's apples, there's a mirepoix, which is...
You had me at beer.
Yeah, right? Celery, carrots, onion. And yeah, it's just been braised in all those lovely things. And then I've taken them out, taken the pieces of short rib out. I've reduced its braising liquid down, strained out all that stuff. And now you're left with this super flavorful, almost gravy. So this is actually going to get covered and then go into the oven.
Okay.
We want that to be nice and soft for when we serve it. There we go. Get that in there. Stay. Next, we're going to do our pomme aligot. So pomme aligot, you get your pan hot. Pomme aligot is a mashed potato, and I learned this from Au Pied Cochon, is a mashed potato. Traditionally, they use like an Emmentaler cheese or something like that, but French Canadian, we use cheese curds. St. Albert, only the best. And you're going to get this stringy, gooey, delicious mashed potato. So this is my portioned buttermilk mash. So it's just Yukon Gold potatoes that have been cooked with mash or buttermilk, butter, salt, pepper, and I add that to the pan. And then I add a bit of heavy cream, and that's going to kind of loosen it up. So we let that go.
And it's important that obviously you took it off the heat here because you don't want it to burn.
Yeah, I didn't
right?
want it to burn, right? So I wanted the pan hot, but then you're just kind of going to break down your nice mashed potato there. You don't want to work it too much because then you get that gluey kind of chewy mashed potato. We want our gluey, chewy mashed potato to be because of the cheese curds, not because of the overworked starches. Yeah. So now it's softening up nicely. That's when we're going to add some of our cheese curds. And while we're doing this, while we're waiting for these to all melt together, I'm going to season. This is our local asparagus. It's the very end of it. Local asparagus and rainbow carrots, also from Acorn Creek Farms here in Canada. Seasoned salt, pepper, bit of olive oil. I don't do much to my vegetables when they're that good quality. I'm going to finish those in the oven as well.
All right.
All right. So let's get our mix in our cheese curds.
It's just got a nice, beautiful consistency to it.
Oh,
Great
it's
color.
Once the cheese curds fully melt too, you'll see I'll bring the spoon up and it'll be nice and stringy.
All right. So now, how long would you leave the beef in the oven for? Like how
10
long?
minutes. About 10 minutes.
Okay.
So I started on the flame, right? So I get that nice gravy boiling. I get it kind of started, and then I cover it, and it's going to kind of steam it a bit and cook everything through so it's fall off the bone tender. And as well, our sauce will continue to reduce in the oven.
All right.
So we're going to get that nice kind of nappe consistency that's going to coat the meat nicely, and it's going to be good.
Okay, so we just have to have an awkward pause while we wait for everything to kind of...
We're just going to stand here and look at each other. Staring contact. Your hand's close to the flame, watch out.
You looked away.
Oh, we're getting it. So I should be able to pull up like that, and you'll see the string of cheese curd. Oh, yeah. So that's all cheese curdy goodness. That's going to be phenomenal. All right, so I'm going to set that aside. That's good. We've got our meat in the oven. We've got our veg in the oven. We've got our potatoes done. Now it's the waiting game.
The awkward staring.
You've got to go back to that. This is awkward.
It is awkward.
All right, meat's ready. Let's get it out of the oven. Should be nice and bubbly. Oh, look at that. Bubbly, tender, softened all the way through. Our sauce is reduced nicely.
You know what? You can smell the cinnamon.
Oh, can you ever,
Yeah.
right? The cinnamon, it's the first thing that gets you. That's why people love this dish. All right, you ready to plate this?
Yeah, let's see how you do this.
Let me get this over here. So basically we have our, look at that now.
Beautiful.
Beautiful cheese curdy mashed potatoes, stringy. So we're gonna plate some of this. Right in the middle of our plate there. Grab some of our veg. Got our nice local asparagus. Coming to an end this season, but we got the most of it when we could. And then some of our carrots. All rainbow baby heirloom carrots. Take one of my short ribs like that. Take one like that. And now my favorite part. All this hard work that you put into braising it, you just pour it on top.
Wow.
That
Beautiful.
looks terrible, doesn't it?
Oh, it looks absolutely stunning. There you go. If I could pass it a note, it would say, "Will you go out with me?" Circle yes or no. And just a little piece on top.
Yeah, so again with those nice little micro peas, those greens, I'm gonna put some of those on top for a little bit of height and a little bit of color.
There you go.
That's our braised short rib dish here at Graffiti's. You could get it anytime you come in. Nice, hearty, good dish, seasonal ingredients, can't go wrong.
Yeah, and if you have hooves, you get 50% off.
You do, that's right. We cater to goat people.
All right. Oh, stop.
Sorry.
Oh, God, you're scaring me.
I have that effect on
Yeah,
people,
wow.
I know. Oh well.
You can't do that. You're right in my vision. You can't sneak up on me like
can't
that.
see, I guess.
Dessert. What is it?
Panna cotta
All right.
literally translates to cooked cream.
Oh.
So you warm your milk, your cream, you add your sugar, your honey, and then it's actually thickened without the use of eggs, like a creme brulee or a creme caramel would. It's thickened using gelatin, so leaves of gelatin, and it actually that's what sets it. So you warm. First, you put your leaves of gelatin into water, and it kind of blooms them. It's called. It softens them up because if not, they're little cardboard sheets. But And then you bring just to a boil your milk and your cream. You add your sugar, your honey, and then you whisk it into your gelatin sheets.
Could the average person do this at home?
Absolutely. It's one of the easiest desserts you could do.
Really?
There's very little technique involved. You bring your milk and your cream up to a boil. You add your sugar and your honey, and even the measurements aren't as strict as say making bread, banana bread, something like that. So it's quite easy, and then it's just a matter of letting it sit in the fridge because the gelatin will then set the cream, so you have the sweetness. But
you don't want to do it at home because you want to come here.
I want you to come here. Don't do it at home. You could hurt yourself.
So it's really difficult.
Let us take care of you.
I mean, there's knives in the kitchen. You don't want to.
It's true. You don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So with this, we use these coffee cups. They're a great little container, perfect size for a dessert. This is actually a very nice light dessert. A lot of people think, oh, we got a cream dessert. It's going to be heavy, like a creme caramel, creme brulee. This is very light, even though it is a dairy based. So I kind of cut around the edges to help release it. Releasing. I made up a word.
That's fine. That's what the show's about, making stuff up.
There you go.
Oh, very cool.
And it comes out just like that.
Nice.
It's going to be nice and set. And then what we do with that is this is our blueberry compote. I use fresh blueberries. We cook it down with a bit of Chambord liqueur. Chambord liqueur. And we're just going to have a good time with it. I'm just going to spoon quite a bit of that onto it. Don't be shy. And then here I have toasted pistachios. So just lightly toasted to kind of bring out the flavors and the oils. Those are sprinkled on top. Dusted with a bit of sugar. And then we serve ours with a ladyfinger biscotti.
Wow,
and it's pretty much as simple as that. And that's one of our staple desserts.
It always amazes me how dessert can look so complex and so complicated, but you just did this in what, a minute?
In a minute and a half.
Minus the process to actually make it, but yeah.
And the process itself is whisking a few ingredients together, warming one up, and then just letting it sit in the fridge. Putting some delicious blueberries on top with some nuts, and there you go. One of the easiest desserts and very classical Italian.
And if this man can make it with hooves, I mean, there's hope for the rest of us, right?
If you can whisk with hooves, there's hope.
All right, we're going to try some of these in just a second here on Ottawa Eats. All right, that's another edition of Ottawa Eats. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, you're quite the skilled craftsman in the kitchen.
I've honed my trade.
You do goat people proud everywhere.
We're a rare and dying breed.
Yes, you are. If people want to come here, how can they find you? What's the best way to find you?
Come on in, 101 Canada Avenue, but if you want, you can find us on Facebook at Graffiti's Italian Eatery or our website as well at graffiti'sitalianeatery.ca.
All right, and a great place to go before a Sens game.
Yeah, we're just around the corner from Canadian Tire Centre. You can catch the shuttle to the Canadian Tire Centre right out front of our doors, and hey, if you want to have a really good time at the game, you could always come back here and stay.
Is the restaurant named after your arms, by the way?
No.
A lot of graffiti there.
There's a lot of graffiti. Food graffiti, though.
Yeah. What is that, corn?
Yeah, corn.
Okay, I'm going to try this. Is that all right?
No problem.
Oh, okay. You sure?
Get in. I'm going to try this.
Oh, okay.
So what are you eating right now? Can you please tell me what that is?
Oh, God.
In Italian?
No, I can't. I'm terrible. I'm terrible with names. I'll tell you if it's good or not.
Suppli al telefono. Creamy risotto goodness with some cheese, crunchy outside, pomodoro sauce.
Keep going.
Yeah, we got a lot of food here to eat.
Yeah, we do. You're a good goat man.